All right. I just need to confirm Facebook.
Oh, look at us.
Do you show us on Facebook?
Yep, and I just shared with mine.
Okay, great. I don't see that, but if you see it, then I will believe it. Okay. Excellent. Well, let's get started then. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us for our live broadcast. And I am Jamie Chavez, President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And every week I bring to you a series of live broadcasts. Mondays are your backstage pass to City Hall. We do interviews with our city council members, our mayor, mayor pro tem, and then other city leaders as well. So I hope that you join us for those each Monday. On Wednesdays, we talk to our newest members of the chamber, giving an introduction to them and what they do for our community. And then on the last Friday of the month, which I'm just kind of sad today because this is our last one.
It is. It is rather sad.
Yeah. So the last Friday of the month, I have had the pleasure of interviewing Jefferson County Commissioner Tracy Kraft Tharp and giving her a chance to inform you on our broader Jefferson County matters. And so thank you for all who have been here for that time. And we will certainly miss you, Tracy, as you are almost done with your term. So we can, kind of talk a little bit about that today. We will continue to do these broadcasts as we get Commissioner Zenzinger in, and she's agreed to come and provide those broadcast updates for us. So excited to start meeting with her, but we'll definitely miss having you on here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you will continue to be a part of the chamber, and so we can talk about that and how you're going to still be involved there as well. But as you watch the broadcast this morning, we encourage you to engage with us, ask your questions, any comments that you might have, or just say hello in the comment section, and we'll get to those during the interview. And so now a warm welcome for our final time. We have some other people joining us that want to say hi. Thanks for joining us, Dave. And Parker, and you're absolutely right, Parker. She can't get rid of us.
Well, good. Well, hello. Thank you so much for having me. And yes, I have enjoyed this a lot. I really have enjoyed working with you, Jamie, and working on this podcast. And I've really appreciated our fan club that has joined us every month. Glad to see you, Mr. Carpenter. Glad to see you, Parker Brown. And happy birthday, Parker Brown. He just had a birthday this week. So, yes.
Yeah. 40 years young.
Oh, this is your 40th, Parker? Wow. Yeah. Wow. Well, I hope he did something special. I hope he's going on a trip or do something special as he reaches that milestone and celebrates it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So good. So I have my list, but before we get to my list, I always like to ask you, what's new at the chamber?
Oh, here we go. Parker says 40 and getting only younger. I feel that, Parker. 40 is one of those magic ages, I feel like, where you hit it and then you're like, you know what? Things are great. And then you get younger for a while.
And I will tell you, life is really great after 40.
Yeah.
The best is yet to come, Parker.
Yeah, I've enjoyed my 40s so far, so I agree.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right, well, what's going on at the chamber? Gosh, well, it's the end of the year, so we've been doing a lot of reflecting on this last year. I've been here for a year now, so that's been on my mind quite a bit lately, and we've done a lot of really great things, and looking forward to next year. 2025 is going to be, even better and more exciting. I feel like I have my feet underneath me a little bit more now, and so can continue to broaden our programming and just bring more services and support to people. So I'm excited for that.
And we hit our milestone of you joining us in this role at the chamber.
Yes.
Yes. It really has been a great time.
Yeah,
I really have appreciated working with you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a blast.
You've done great stuff for the chamber, and we'll do greater stuff in the future. So
yeah, I'm excited. Well, and maybe we can talk about how you're still going to be involved with us, because I'm really excited to keep working with you in another aspect. So let's chat about that.
Okay. So how would you like me to stay involved?
Well, so anyone that doesn't know yet, Tracy has agreed to come on and serve as our chair for our Government Affairs Committee. So effective January 13th, once she's officially done with County Commissioner, she'll join us in the Government Affairs Committee. And you've been a member of that committee
Forever.
for a long time. And so now you'll be taking the, what's the phrase, taking the reins on that, taking the helm. Is that I think those both work.
And working hand in hand with Dave Carpenter.
That's right. Yeah, our current chair.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's the current chair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're excited to have you.
Thank you very much. And it will be a very exciting legislative session. So I don't know if you saw the news from yesterday. They had their revenue forecast, and they were projecting $1 billion shortfall in the state budget. And the good news is I think it's only $672 million.
Yeah, I mean, that's better. Yep.
Much better.
Much better. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That will help.
That will help.
Tracy will be great in the GAC chair role. Yes, and we certainly have appreciated you being there as well, Dave, and know that you'll continue to support her and the chamber as well. So
great. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, so it will be good. And then the Republicans picked up 3 seats in the legislature. And I know I was listening to 710 this morning where they were talking about it, and some of the legislators were coming on air. They think it's going to make a difference. The Republicans are still in the minority, but they're not in the super minority. They think it's going to make a huge difference. So it will be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
So started January 8th. It'll be a interesting, always an interesting legislative session.
Yeah. And for anyone watching that is not currently involved in our Government Affairs Committee, we encourage you to join us. Typically we meet on the first Thursday of every month at 9 a.m. Our January meeting is actually going to be on the 16th. We wanted to, get into session just a little bit, have more to talk about there, get away from the new year a little bit before we had our first meeting. So January 16th, 9 a.m. And you can join us in person or virtually. So feel free to reach out for more information on that.
Mm-hmm. Good. So how about if I jump into my list?
Yes.
County news. So the first thing is, the county commissioners did a town hall meeting. I think it was December 10th. And that recording is now available. You can find that on the Jeffco.us webpage or on my Facebook page, Tracy for Jeffco. And it's just an hour, so it's 1, 2, 3, very quick. But we talked about 1A, of course, and 1A passing and what does that mean. But the other thing that we talked about that I think is a hotter issue in the county is snow shoveling. People get very irate by snow shoveling policies. And Brian Knight, who they call BK, was there, and he talked about the policies around snow plowing and who has priority and who does not have priority. If you live in a cul-de-sac, you are not very high on the priority list. And that it's just, they have to get to a lot of areas, unincorporated areas in the county. And there's some places that are high on the list. There's some places that are not. You can call. The number is on the Jeffco.us page to find out where the snow plows are and when they anticipate getting to your street, which I think is a very cool thing.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. And it's all, anticipated. The one factor that is really making a huge difference in snow plowing, as well as in everything else, is they have not been able to hire CDL drivers for the snow plows. So they are looking for, I think it's 27 to 30 people to give jobs to. The unemployment rate is pretty low these days. But if there are people out there, college students, if you just graduated and you are looking for a job, if you're in your last year and you're not going to classes, you can get your CDL license and come work for the county and plow some snow. Really would encourage people to do that. So a good Christmas present to people is to tell them about this great job opportunity.
Yeah.
Yes. So that recording of that town hall meeting again is on jeffco.us or Tracy for Jeffco Facebook page.
Okay.
And encourage people to take a listen. And speaking of podcasts, I did a podcast last week and it's out this week with Jensen Tinmore with Jeffco EDC. And that is available on the EDC Facebook page, but also on mine, Tracy for Jeffco. And Jansen and I talked for about 45 minutes. Largely, we talked about what if you want to run for office? What should you do? What should you look at? What's it like running for office? And that. So that was interesting. One of the things that I talked about, everybody is really intrigued with this retiring from public office. So I've been in public office for 12 years. But I got to tell you, I had a whole career before that. And so it really is a retirement from that whole career before that. So before that, I was a psychotherapist. I worked with at-risk kids, and I was a family therapist working with troubled families. Worked at the Colorado Christian Home. And then also worked with Family Tree, running the battered women's shelter and running the adolescent crisis shelter.
I did not know that about you.
Did you not?
I did not. No.
Yeah. And then I was a consultant for many years. I worked with nonprofit managers, helping them build their nonprofit capacity. So my life really was focused more around nonprofits. And it's just been the last 12 years that I've been involved in politics.
Got it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So Jansen and I talked about that. We talked about, what if you want to run? What should you do? What should you be fearful of? What should you not be fearful of? So that I listened to it last night. There's some things I wish I would have said. There was nothing that I listened to that I said, ooh, why did I say that?
That's always good.
There were a couple things that was kind of like, oh, really? You said that? But there was nothing that I thought,
No, that's a win because I feel like every time I speak, I'm like, oh, what just came out of my mouth?
I know. Sometimes, like when a reporter does a story and I read it, and I'm like seriously, and the only good thing is that all those things they're hot today and gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that's my first two things. So I have got a good update that I know Parker and Dave were really interested in, and that is the speed limit on Sim Street. So I've been working on this. So they've opened up the new Sim Street,
Yep.
the old Sim Street. So we're talking north of 112th, between 112th and 128, Highway 128. The old Sims is going to turn into Calendar. And do you know why it's named Calendar, don't you, Jamie?
I don't.
Okay, this is a good trivia question for you. It's named after Doc Calendar. That's the person who kind of discovered the airport. And he's the one who used to fly his planes in and said this would be a really good place for an airport.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's kind of the father of the airports. He's going to have a street named after him. That'll be Calendar Street. So right now, Sims was closed for a year while they were doing all that development. Sims is now open. Well, the surprise when Sims opened was Sims south of 112th, the speed limit is 40. It's a 2-lane road, and the speed limit is 40. So you go through the stop light, and it's a 4-lane road, 2 and 2, right? And the speed limit is 35. So the question has come up, why?
Yeah.
And especially being that there is nothing up there but road. They're in the process of right now of putting the walls up of a warehouse, it looks like. No one's going 35.
Right.
But we don't want anyone to get tickets. I haven't seen any police there. We went through that this morning. I haven't seen any police there. But if you're speeding, you probably could get a ticket. Mm-hmm. So I have talked to our transportation people and explained the situation, that this is a concern of the community. So they have to go through the state and, some certification stuff. They're going to take a serious look at that and look at if they can at least make that part 40 also. So our transportation people are on it. They're working on it. I asked them, can you get this done before I leave? He laughed at me, but we'll see if we can't get that taken care of.
Yeah. Anytime there's things like that, I'm always like, I'm not an engineer. Somebody smarter than me surely thought this through.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm not an engineer either, so not really sure. So that's the good news. The other good news is on January 15th, I have lots of dates today. On January 15th is our clerk's office is having a passport palooza again, where you can come without an appointment. They will be available, I think, in the atrium of the Jeffco admin building. And you can get your passport renewed or a new passport and get that all taken care of.
Awesome.
All those appointments these days take appointments. They're not stop into the office, which can be a problem for people. Right. So to be able to have this. And I have not been to this passport palooza, but apparently it's a lot of fun. They make getting your passport fun. So.
Wow. Okay. I guess I'd like to see that.
Right. So if you need a passport or your kids need a passport, January 15th is your day. So what did Dave say?
Oh, sorry. Took it down. He said speed limits are as much politics as engineering.
True. Very true. Yes. And I think we're going to be seeing that. We're talking about Sim Street again. I think we really will be seeing a lot of development. And I think a lot of those buildings are going to come up pretty fast. It's going to be pretty startling.
Yeah. We'll watch for that. We'll watch for that.
Right. Yes. So that's January 15th. On January 14th is swearing in day. And that's when those people that were elected will be sworn in. That includes the judges, Commissioner Andy Kerr to be sworn in for a second term, Senator Rachel Zenzinger to be sworn in as the District 1 County Commissioner, Alexis King as our District Attorney. So that is at 8 o'clock in the hearing room in the admin building. And then I think they're going to have a little reception thing afterwards. So inviting people to be able to come and attend.
Great. Thank you.
Yes. And then the last thing I have on my list, which we seem to be going pretty fast, Jamie, is, and I'm looking for, I have the data. Planning and Zoning did some data again this week. So I wanted to report out to you all. One of the big pieces of data that they track is their response rate to people. So the big complaint about planning and zoning everywhere, not just Jefferson County, but everywhere, is they don't call me back. I call them, and they don't call me back. So our planning and zoning folks are keeping track of how long it takes to be able to respond to people. And probably because they're tracking this, they report this out quarterly, and they are reporting out that they have a 100% report back to people within 24 to 48 hours. Now, mind you, if you call the county, 24 to 48 hours seems like a really long time. It's like I'm always cognizant that when people send me an email, as soon as they click send, they're like, why doesn't she respond to me? Where is she? Because it just seems like a really long time, to get a response, especially if you're calling to complain about something.
Right.
But I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So their data on planning and zoning, on what they do, in 2023, they had about 59,000 total contacts. People phoning, mailing, or coming to their front counter in 2023. 2024, 40,312.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, part of what that says to me is if you can talk about 100% response rate within 24 to 48 hours on 40,000 contacts.
Yeah.
those staff are working really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So total applications and processes, 5,800, close to 5,900 in 2023, 5,500 in 2024. Yeah. And what they say is even before that, the numbers are pretty stable. So zoning enforcement inquiries, this is neighbors calling neighbors, I assume, people calling to complain about zoning.
Yeah.
2,200 last year, 1,700 this year. Fairly close.
Yep.
Yeah. And then public hearing cases, 200 last year, 160 this year.
Okay.
So what that says to me is that planning and zoning, that Jefferson County has kind of found a stable, rate of planning and zoning activities. We're not seeing tremendous growth. We're not seeing a tremendous lack of growth. We've kind of steadied out. Yeah, that's
Awesome.
what that says to me. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that sounds about right. Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I see the planning and zoning staff at our hearings. And I mean, these people, number one, they just get harassed and people don't treat them very nicely. People actually testify and say mean things about them, and they're just sitting right there, which I always think is a little ballsy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're not even saying mean things behind their back. You're doing it right in front of them. But I think it's a really hard job. I am extremely impressed with the work that our staff do, and that they are always looking at how can they do it better. The planning and zoning director, Chris O'Keefe, is amazing. I think he just is such a great leader. And I hate to say that out loud because somebody will steal him. That's the dilemma, is that you kind of want to
Yeah.
let him be a secret.
Yeah.
But, in my last hurrah, I want to say he's one of my heroes of the county.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
just does such a great job. Avel Montoya came to us. He was at Arapahoe, Adams, Gilpin, and came to us. He's the director of development and transportation. He's amazing. Just really, we have some great people doing some of this core work in the county.
Yeah. Is that one of the things you're going to miss the most, or what are you going to miss the most?
So I sit on about 15 boards, which is pretty overwhelming.
Yeah.
And that's what I will miss. Like I sit on the flood district board. I never would have thought I would find it fascinating. But it is absolutely fascinating to look at areas that are high risk for flood in the county, and how and again, it's this engineer work. Maybe my admiration is for engineers, how they look at protecting, some of these locations on floods. Really impressive. So I will miss. I like the hearings. I like the land use issues. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think was the highlight of your time with Jefferson County?
So that's interesting. I don't know, Jamie. I don't
It's
know.
a big question.
It is a big question. Yes. It's interesting. This truly is being part of government, and it really is about the executive branch of government, and it's about implementing policy. The staff really are the people that largely do the creative, work, and the commissioners really are people we get reports of what they're doing. So part of it for me is I've missed actually getting my hands dirty and really, digging in and working on policy changes. But I've so appreciated, like, we've got this regional homeless coordinator. Her name is Carrie, and she coordinates the work within all the municipalities. I mean, you listen to this woman, and she's just brilliant. I mean, you're just so impressed with the stuff that she's doing. And then Mary Berg, who's the director of Human Services, Mary and I have actually worked together forever. When I ran the Gemini House, the adolescent crisis shelter, in the 90s, she used to place kids in the shelter. So we've known each other for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, so Dave says maybe you should be an engineer in retirement, but what do you plan to do? What big plans
Well,
do you have for all this free time that you're going to have now that you're not sitting on 15 boards?
right, all this free time. I actually have said to my husband, "Do you think I should go get my doctorate?" And he looks at me, he's like, "Are you crazy? What are you thinking of?" So, my husband has suggested, I'm tired, and my husband has suggested that the first month or two to just kind of lay low, just kind of be. I'm going to watch The Bold and the Beautiful. I'm going to play golf. We have tickets to the Rockies game. We have not been able to go to the Rockies. So we're going to go to the baseball games. And then I'm going to do some consulting. I'm teaching in a class, this virtual class around social workers in elected office. So we'll do that, and we'll do some consulting, helping people who are looking at running for office. So it'll be an adventure.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure whatever you do, you'll excel at it. And
You're sweet. Thank you.
I've really enjoyed these interviews with you once a month and working with you in the Jefferson County Commissioner role. And so I'm excited to keep working with you in other ways. But just want to thank you for everything that you've done for the community, the businesses, and the chamber.
Well, thank you. I've worked with the Westminster Chamber since the inception with Bob Briggs, and have really appreciated the growth and development of where things are at. And I'm so pleased with where things are at today. I'm honored for you to ask me to continue working with you all. One of the nicest things that people have done. So I really appreciate that very much.
Awesome. Well, great. Well, anything else you want to say in the last couple minutes you have with the broadcast?
Rachel will be great. But I have loved doing this. I was just looking at my notes from the last couple years that I've done this, and have really, really loved coming on here once a month. It's been good for me to kind of look at what's happening with the county and be tracking that. It's been a good kind of process piece for me.
Yeah. Awesome.
So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks again. And thanks for everybody who joined us, and happy holidays to everybody. I don't think we've got another broadcast until the new year. So it'll be a minute before we're on here, and a whole new year, 2025. So yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. All right. Happy holidays. And thanks again, Tracy.